right, so badge, not backwards this time, and then face. All right, good morning again. So we still have our blood smears up here drying, so we're gonna move on to our reticulocyte film preparation. And what this is going to allow us to do is to essentially just correct our white blood cell counts on the account of nucleated cells. And it's fairly similar to a blood smear, however, we don't have the staining process to an extent. And I'm actually going to be using our feline patient as my video for submission. And to make one of these films, all we're going to need is EDTA, of course, or EDTA whole blood, and then the new methylene blue stain, which we've got here. And we're going to want to put equal parts of whole blood and our new methylene blue stain into a non-additive container. So in this instance, I'm just using what we would use for like a urine tube, but there's no additives to it. And I'm just gonna do 3 drops of whole blood and then 3 drops of the new methylene blue into here. That's gonna sit or incubate for 15 minutes. And then once we come back, that's when we'll perform our smear. And once it dries, we'll evaluate. So we will start out by inverting our sample just to make sure it is nice and mixed. I just have my slides out here ready to go, so when the time comes, we will be ready to do our smears. And then for this purpose, since this tube's a little bit deeper or longer, I'm going to be using these pipette tips with this kind of 3 microliter pipette to get down in there just to get my sample. All right. I'm just going to take that on camera. Yes, okay. All right, and I want my blood to run down the side of the tube here. So we've got 1, 2, 3 drops. And then 3 drops of our new methylene blue stain. So 1, 2, 3. And again, just equal parts. We don't need a whole lot. And then I'm just going to give this a gentle mix. All right, so while that is hanging out, we're gonna set a timer for 15 minutes and then we will be back to make our smear for that. And we've got our 15-minute timer going now. So I'm just gonna pause the video and then we'll be back to do our smear on that one. All right, and we're back. So we're just going down on the last 15 seconds until we are ready to do our smears, or reticulocyte films. All right, so all done there, and grab my sample. As we can see, everything's kind of settled down here at the bottom, which is what we're looking for. This is just going to help ensure that we get a good uptake of the stain into our cells, just to help better differentiate between, you know, like our aggregate, punctuate, reticulocytes, which is going to be more common in the feline species over canine species, but you really don't want to see any type of punctuate in canines at all, albeit rare. But just give that a gentle mix, and then I'm going to get my pipette ready. And just going to withdraw a small amount here. And that's why we use towels. Just do a little drop. Little drop. Little drop. I'll put my excess in here. dispose of that. And I do not feel that this slide is going to turn out well because it's very thick, but we'll give it a shot either way. And I'm just going to give these an S for squeaky. All right, here we go. I'll start out with the not so good one. Yeah, that came out way too thick. Came out a little bit better. And that one probably came out the best of 3. So I'll just kind of show our not so good one. So you can tell it was thick because we've got some excess up here at the top. This area actually would still be fine to do our reticulocyte count. But if we see a lot of like stacking or like Rolio, we would want to of course get rid of it. And then these two stayed nice and thin throughout, which is going to be good for our count. So yeah, that's it for reticulocyte counts. And on a side note, finally our smears have finally dried, so we'll be able to evaluate those next. But thank you guys for everything.